everybody. It's finally Friday. Sing it with me. We're gonna hit the road to run and let the good times roll. I'm so glad it's Friday, oh my goodness. But I have to work tomorrow a little bit. A couple of clients. But then I get to sleep in on Sunday. Yay! So I'm excited anyways. And when it's Friday, here at KatiMorton.com, I'm on Facebook. So if you asked your questions on Facebook using the hashtag KatiFAQ, I went through and I already answered some. So if any of you are wondering, I already answered like 6 other questions. So I was busy. And now I have 3 very good questions as well to talk about today, as well as a journal topic. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. First question. Hey, Kati, I was wondering what emotional abuse is. I understand the concept, but how do you know if you've been emotionally abused? Also, what's the difference between emotional and mental abuse? I hope you answer this. Thank you so much. So, emotional abuse is... So mental abuse and emotional abuse, I don't believe there's any difference. I actually don't even think there's a separation between the two. I don't think we actually call it mental abuse. We just call it emotional abuse. Now, emotional abuse to me goes hand in hand with verbal abuse in a way, because emotional abuse is a lot of... The best way to describe this is when someone in your life is taking advantage of you emotionally. So that can mean, let me give some examples, because it's kind of hard to describe now that I'm actually talking about it. In my head, I was like, oh, I know this. But now to explain it clearly, sometimes it's difficult. So emotional abuse is when someone, let's just say a parent, says something to you like, wow, that's all you did today? God, sometimes it's just so disappointing, the amount of things you do, and all you do is just sit here and suck off of me, and you're so ungrateful, and they just kind of put you down, or in a way persuade you to feel a certain way. So I always think that verbal abuse and emotional abuse are very similar in that, because oftentimes there's actions as well as words that go along with making us feel bad. And the whole point of emotional abuse is that they do things or say things in order to get us to feel bad, to feel worthless, to feel horrible. So anything that creates that in you, that you find yourself feeling really terrible, because family and friends, they know best how to poke our buttons, right? And some people are really abusive with it, and they can turn that into abuse by saying things that are really hurtful and knowing how we will react to it. Is that clear? I know sometimes it's hard for me to express what I'm trying to express, but that's what emotional abuse is. If you have any other questions, you want me to do a full Monday video on it, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up and comment and let me know. Because it's something I can definitely describe more, but that's the easiest way for a short video. Okay? Question number 2. Hey, Kati, accepting sympathy? ? I absolutely hate it when my therapist shows any sort of sympathy towards me. Is this normal? I'm still working through some past trauma, and it makes me super uncomfortable to hear her say things like, I'm so sorry that happened, or that had to be very scary for you, or anything along those lines. Showing sympathy doesn't change anything, but it's not like she could ever really understand how I felt or feel about it. In addition, it makes me even more uncomfortable to hear her say I was abused. I know that I was, but it feels like I'm being labeled as defective or something. Can I ask her not to say those kinds of things? Or is it something I need to hear/learn to accept? Thanks. I thought this was a good question, because a lot of us, I know, have trouble with this. And the truth of it, and I'm just going to cut to the chase, I'm not going to sugarcoat it too much. When we accept sympathy for bad things that have happened to us, we have to accept ourselves that they happened to us. And that can be really, really hard. And hearing someone say it so nonchalantly possibly, or so matter-of-factly, like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened, that had to be terrible. We think, no, it wasn't terrible, or I don't know. It sheds light on something that we've kept in the dark for so long, and it can be really shocking. Now, to her question about should she tell her therapist not to say those things, I wouldn't phrase it that way, because this is something that you're going to need to hear and learn to accept. But you could say something to your therapist to the effect of, I'm really struggling to deal with you saying these types of things to me. And could you be a little more careful with it? Or could we talk about that a little more, about the phrasing, not the stuff, obviously. But it can be really difficult. And it's mainly around the acceptance of the fact that bad things happened and we feel shitty about it. And it doesn't mean you're defective at all. It's not a label. It's just helping you process through what happened. Okay? I know that's hard, but it will get easier the more we talk about it. So I encourage you to keep talking about it. Okay? Question number 3. Hey, Kati, how can you overcome feeling worthless? It's a good question. Throughout my childhood, I was sexually abused by my dad, and my mom did nothing about it. I want to recover, but I don't know how to motivate myself when I feel so worthless. Now, I did a video, I don't even know, a long time ago. And I told this person in the comment as well to check it out. And it's called Self-Hatred and How to Overcome It. And I would encourage you to search for that on YouTube and watch it, because the struggle with feeling worthless has a lot to do with our overall sense of self, how we feel about who we are. And it sounds like for this person in particular, we derive that worthlessness over the fact that no one cared to do anything to help us, to save us, to anything. And we just feel like we're almost invisible or worthless or, not important to anybody. And we have to start changing the conversation we have with ourselves about it. Now, at times, I've had clients when we're trying to work on this where there'll be a period of time where it's very normal to feel extreme anger towards them. And because right now you have anger towards yourself, not at your parents. Oftentimes when we turn our anger in, that's when we feel anxiety, we feel depression, we can feel worthless, we can have self-harm, eating disorder. A lot of it is when we turn our emotions in versus expressing them out. So part of kind of the homework I would tell you to start working on this sense of worthlessness is, first of all, to recognize that it was not your fault and it's no defect of you or anything reflecting on you. It's actually the fault of the abuser. And the fact that another parent knew about it and didn't do anything, that's also their fault, because I would hold them accountable. And I would encourage you to vent that through journaling, your emotions around it. And I would also encourage you to scream into a pillow, listen to angry music, kick a soccer ball into a cement wall over and over and over. Try to get some of that anger out, because I have a feeling that you'll find there are a lot of other emotions hidden in there. And it's not just this sense of worthlessness that is the most palpable one. It's just the one you're dealing with right now. After doing that and working on that continuously, I would also encourage you to notice and maybe journal or jot down what goes on in your mind day in and day out. Is it put downs on yourself? Is it, I'm so stupid, how could I do that? What's the conversation we're having with ourselves? Because that has a lot, like a ton to do with our confidence and how we manage things during the day. So when you notice that you're speaking really negatively to yourself, it can really help for you to focus in on that and try to change the conversation. So when you have something come up and you think, I'm just so stupid, what the hell was I thinking? Blah, 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 blah. Notice and say, no, I'm not stupid. I made a mistake and I'm human and people make mistakes and that's okay. I'm going to try again next time. We're just trying to make it a neutral, possibly turn it into a positive, but we want to make sure that it's not a negative. Okay, is that clear? So it's a little bit of homework and it's going to take time, but through doing that, you'll find that your recovery, because she said that I don't know how to motivate myself to recover, you'll find your recovery moves along with it. Okay? Now the journal topic today, now this is one of my own. I didn't find any today on Facebook, so maybe people weren't feeling very journal topic-y, but this is something that's really fun to do. And if we're struggling to find something to write about, I thought this would help. And I have the question, what do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment to date? And why? What's your greatest accomplishment? It could be something as simple as, I passed my math test. I didn't think I would. It could be something as intense and complex as I made decisions to move out of my house and now I live on my own. I have a job. It could be anything that you feel is your greatest accomplishment to date. And then I want to know why. And then I want you to share it with me. Tweet it to me, post it on Facebook, put it on Tumblr and tag me in it, share on Instagram, whatever, so I can see all the wonderful things you're doing and I can be extra proud. Yay! Okay, have a wonderful weekend. I love you all. I'll see you on Monday, and on Tuesday I'll be on Tumblr, so ask your questions there. Bye!